Special council meeting is called to order at 5:00 p.m. Present, President Chris Vachon, Council Member Curtis, Council Member Upper Chase, Treasurer Clerk James Johnson. In the room, I have the police chief and the city manager. Do I have any other officers here that I cannot see? Next item on the agenda, additions and deletions to the agenda. President Vachon?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Curtis?
No, thanks.
Councilmember Upper Chase?
No, thank you.
Treasurer Johnson?
Nothing.
Next item on the agenda, consideration of disciplinary action of city official, executive session 1 VSA section 313A4. May I please have a motion to find that premature public general knowledge of the confidential attorney-client communications made for providing legal services to the city council would place the city at a substantial disadvantage because disclosure of the otherwise confidential advice and communication would harm the city by waiving the city's attorney-client privilege, 1 VSA section 313A1F. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. May I please have a motion to enter executive session to discuss confidential attorney-client communications with the city attorney for the purpose of providing professional legal services and invite the city attorney into the executive session pursuant to 1 VSA section 313A1F and for consideration of disciplinary action of city official pursuant to 1 VSA section 313A4.
So moved.
The motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, the motion is carried, and we are in executive session. We are out of executive session. No action has been taken.
Madam Mayor, I have a motion. I move that we terminate the contract between Jonathan Delabrie, City Manager, and the City of Newport effective immediately and following the provisions for dismissal delineated in the contract.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. At this point, I am going to allow some public comments specific to this motion, but I am going to give you the guidelines because there are a lot of people here. So the first thing I would like to see is which public attendees, if you would raise your hand if you intend on speaking. Is there anybody outside?
There's been a second, that's all.
Okay. So, we're going to keep it specific to the motion. I will invite the first speaker to speak. You'll be allotted a specific amount of time. You are reminded that you speak through the mayor. You do not engage in conversations, okay? It's a comment. It's not a question and answer period. We will hear your comments. You're going to limit those comments, once again, relevant to this motion, okay? If the second and third and fourth and fifth and 20th person, if you start to hear that they are repetitive, I'm going to ask you to please just say you either agree or disagree with the comment that you've heard before, and not to keep reiterating the same comments, because we don't want to be here all night with points that have already been made. And so, once again, I'm going to ask you that you do not mock, interrupt, or otherwise exhibit disruptive behavior or use swear words or obscene language. Individuals who do not abide by these rules will be required to leave. So, on that note, I'm just gonna try to see who, so if you'll raise your hand again, I will call on each individual. Ms. Bjorn, and we don't have a microphone, I apologize, so please come and stand here. You will be timed, you will have 1 minute.
I just do not feel that the council has given Mr. Delabria a fair shake. Within, I think, 8 to 9 weeks of his appointment as city manager, you guys appointed him as interim fire chief. And you did that in the absence of the knowledge, because it was withheld from you, that the controller was also out sick and was not going to be returning for the foreseeable future. And he was set up to fail. And he didn't get the support he should have gotten. And here we are now. And there's rumors flying around that there was other past conduct perhaps or something, and it's my understanding that nobody's reached out to those entities and had conversations with them and fact-checked any of it. And I just think that he is conveniently being thrown under the bus for political reasons, and I find this whole situation just deplorable. And I find the lack of transparency leading up to this event tonight deplorable. And it's just...
Okay, thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
If you will be asked to leave if there's any type of reaction about it. Okay, this is a council meeting. Okay. Who else would like to speak?
I'll speak. So,
Please identify yourself.
my name is Taylor Josephson. I'm actually a lieutenant with the Fairfax Fire Department.
So where are you from?
I am from Fairfax.
You're from Fairfax.
I am, yes.
Okay, so this
So
is
I
for
worked
Newport, but
on-
I'm
yep.
going to allow you to speak.
Yeah, so I've worked with and under Jonathan for quite some time in the fire service in Chittenden County and Fairfax. And I can tell you that he's a person that's out there to help out the people of the town, the managers of the town, help people do their job better. I haven't seen him do much of anything that's hurt anybody going forward, unless he's not giving that opportunity. So I would agree with the statement that was made before prior to that. But I'm just seeing this as quite a bit of overreach and as quite actually disgusting from a politician, so.
Thank you. Anybody else who wishes to speak? Yes, sir. If you come up here, give me your name, tell me where you're from.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Sullivan.
To me, please. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
cool. My name is Alex Sullivan. I'd like to speak on behalf of Mr. Delabria. So was there any kind of write-ups? Was there any corrective counseling? Because from what I've been reading in the newspaper and from your guys' meeting, it just doesn't seem like he has had a lot of support from the get-go. And you on social media, Mrs. Mayor, seemed very supportive of Mr. Delabria when he had joined your city. And then your guys' bright idea to add him onto the fire department. So when I think of integrity, when I think of hard work, when I think of people that serve the state of Vermont, I think of John. You know, this guy runs into buildings that are on fire. He takes care of people in this state. He trains people how to do these things. And you guys sit behind your desk all high and mighty making decisions. So, I do not live in Newport, I own property in Newport. So, if that answers your question. But, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
Thank you
Be
for your
better.
comment. Okay, I'm going to tell you again, okay? If you agree with somebody, just say you agree, so we can move on to the next person. If you disagree, you say you disagree. But stay focused and speak through me. Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Madam Mayor, we do have somebody online as well. John Bouchard.
I'm sorry.
John Bouchard is raising his hand.
Okay, Mr. Bouchard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you will have, the time is going. Go right ahead. Just identify yourself and where you live, and your comment can begin.
Thank you, ma'am. John Bouchard, Fairfield, Vermont. And to reiterate that when Mr. Delabria served the town of Fairfield, he did so very well. He was on our fire department, and as said before, just to reiterate, he has served his community very well. Conscientious, honorable, with distinction and is a good guy. He has the respect of a lot of people. Just to reiterate what Taylor said earlier from Fairfax. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else?
My name is Patrick Curley. I'm a resident of Newport. I'm here as a private citizen, but I have worked with Jonathan and other city employees and staff on projects that benefit the community in Newport specifically. And Jonathan and I have had a really positive, productive working relationship. I do agree with others who have spoken that I am curious about what sort of corrective actions or improvement plan was taken, if any at all, to address any shortcomings. But besides Jonathan's character, which I don't, question, it is just, I want to let the council know that for people like me who strive to work with the city of Newport, losing people over and over again or pushing people with institutional knowledge away from the city does not instill much confidence in people like me to work with the city. So that's my comment.
Thank you for your comment. Former Mayor Monet.
For the record, my name is Paul Monette. I'm the former mayor of the city of Newport. Served 14 years as mayor, 12 as the city council. And I'm finding this very appalling. I just see the lack of transparency. I just am very concerned about how many millions of dollars in grants do we have and where do they stand? Are we going to start losing grants over this? Because this is deja vu all over. We had the same thing happen to Karen Garrity, who was an interim manager. All of a sudden there's a special meeting and she's gone. This meeting warned at 5 o'clock on a Friday night. And normally everything's all over social media about this, but this was like you wanted to keep it secret. I just like to know where the transparency is. I agree with everything. I'm just saying I agree with everybody here. I can look at people. I don't have to look straight at you all the time. I can look at people and say I agree with what was said. And so I just want to say the lack of transparency by everyone at this table is awful. And the residents of Newport need to stand up and start saying time, no more.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Ms. Patterson.
My name is Melissa Pedersen. I'm a Newport resident, speaking as a Newport resident. In full transparency, I did sit on the council for 4 years and I currently sit on the DRB. My comment is on the procedure or lack of procedure that led to this moment. Back in this early spring, when the personnel policy for non-union people—
Stay focused on this.
I am staying focused, Madam Mayor— was changed. It was requested by several council members to revisit that policy, and a motion was made and passed that it would be revisited on July 15th or by a special meeting. Council members had repeatedly asked for it to be on the agenda, and it never appeared on the agenda. So the fire at will in that policy that was changed seems like it was orchestrated to set up for events like this. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Tina LeBlanc, and I live in Newport, and I own rental property in Newport, and I helped Jonathan and Lindsay sell their house in Fairfax. They were so excited to be here and really wanted to make a difference. He was coming back home, and it just seems like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. I haven't really been following the whole thing, except to say that moving your whole life is not something that people do lightly. And they're a wonderful young couple, and I think it'd be really short-sighted for this whole thing to happen the way it is. It's disheartening. It's like soul-crushing. That's it.
Thank you for your comment.
My name is Wendy Franklin, and I'm a resident of Newport. I've known Mr. Delaberiere half his life, but I'll speak to his professional relationship. He has such high ethical standards, and I agree with Tina LeBlanc's comment about him moving his life back home to serve here in his hometown. It just doesn't seem right. He has been wonderful to work with. He has accomplished so much in his career prior to this position, and we would be losing a great asset if he no longer is with the city as in the city manager position. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Robert Darling. I'm a resident of Sutton. May I speak to the council? I'm a 50-year firefighter. I trained with John, and we worked with John, and when he was city manager or town administrator in Cambridge, I worked with Cambridge Rescue, and he was very accommodating to us and working with us and solving a lot of our problems there. The only thing I want to say is when I talk about firefighters working together, it's about loyalty and about integrity and trust, and that's where I place myself with John. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, sir.
My name is Bert Delabrie. I live in Jericho, Vermont, and I'm known as Uncle Bert for Jonathan. I actually helped him move my trailer, took a day off. He was so excited to come to Newport and work as a city manager. And I know quite a few people in the state of Vermont, city manager of Lebanon, New Hampshire, city manager of St. Albans, Dominic Cloud, city manager of Swan. They all talk highly of Jonathan. And to hear what's going on here is really disturbing. And if I had a fire in a house and I wanted someone to be there, the first one, it would be Jonathan. When we had a project in Burlington, there was a fire. He was the first one on the scene, went through the building, cleared the parking lots for the fire trucks to come. He cares more than anyone. He'll put himself second, he'll put you first to saving your life. And on the memo, it says we're allowed 2 minutes.
Well, that's different. This isn't a public comment like that. Anybody else?
We do have another one online. David, I'm gonna say something to Dave.
Okay. David, I can't see your last name. I believe it's DeBays. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Could you identify yourself and then you may speak?
Of course, Mrs. Mayor. My name is David DiBiase, and I'm the fire chief at the City of Virginia's Fire Department. I've known, and I'm a former resident of the city of Newport, down in Newport. I've known Jonathan and Bert and the Delabries all my life. I've had the distinct pleasure of working with Jonathan both professionally in my professional career that we won't get into here, as well as with the fire department. In both aspects, I've seen Jonathan be nothing but professional, helpful, engaged, and looking for answers and solutions to problems before they exist for both entities. So with that, I can only say that losing Jonathan, I would take Jonathan in any position that I ever had to offer in a heartbeat. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else?
Not currently.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
My name is Tom Costello. I'm not a resident here, but I've known Jonathan for many, many years now. He is a man of integrity, honesty, and compassion, which I find that this board does not have. And what I also see is this is just another case of what has happened to Newport over the years of losing good people for managers because of the politics up here. You people need to get yourselves right-sized and realize what is actually at stake here. You're losing a fantastic asset that you're not going to get back, and you're wondering why your city is dying. That's all I've got.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'm Jonathan Delabrier's dad. So, when I announced to a lot of business owners in Newport that my son's got the job in Newport, you know what most of them said? We don't know if we should congratulate him or give him sympathy. Honestly, I think all of you guys should be replaced. This has been happening for years. Newport goes nowhere. Derby is never an issue. there's an issue here.
Thank you for your comment. Please, no comments, or else you'll have to leave. Anybody else who has to speak, would like to speak?
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
My name is Calvin Caswell. I am on the Fairfax Fire Department, former volunteer fire chief of the Fairfax Fire Department. I had the pleasure of Jonathan serving under me when I was a chief, and he helped tremendously through a very tough transitional period on our fire department. I agree with everything that everybody has said here tonight regarding Johnny and what has led up to this point. I honestly do not believe that anything anybody has said is going to change any of your minds. All I have to say is that you're going to be very sorry for what you did and that you're going to lose Johnny.
Thank you for your comment. Okay. Yes, sir.
I'm Alan Delabria. Jonathan's is my sister's son. So I've worked with Jonathan. I've seen him growing up all the way through. Is this somebody's phone ringing?
Yeah, just bear with me one second.
It's very annoying.
Well, we'll take care of it.
I'm shutting it off. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I've seen Jonathan grow up when he was a child, and he's just grown up really fast. I mean, I think he deserves a second chance. I was in the Army for 21 years, so we have to work together as a group all the time. We see somebody failing, we help them. We give them paperwork, we tell them what needs to get done, what needs to be brought up to standards. We kind of guide him. If he's doing something wrong, we guide him. We kind of, hey, you can't do that. We just help him as much as possible. And he's a young man. He's got a lot of ambition. He's really, he could grow really fast in this area. He could help everybody, but everybody has to help each other out. Everybody's got to work together as a team. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Bringing the back here. Council?
There was a hand that popped up.
Oh, okay, bear with me one second, if we miss someone.
It's not there anymore, so.
Okay. So I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is new business. President Fishon,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Charbonneau,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Curtis.
Just want to say to those of you that are disappointed in us, one of the first things I told Jonathan when he arrived was, you're going to outlast me. I will be long gone and you'll still be here. I like Jonathan, I still like Jonathan. I don't expect you to understand our position, but there are things that we know that we can't tell. I believe I helped him the best I could. You saw our decision, and anyway, it's regretful. Nothing that I'm pleased about, but we are where we're at. That's all I have to say.
Councilmember Hufford Chase.
Nothing.
Treasurer Johnson.
I have nothing.
Next item on the agenda is old business. President Fishon,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Charbonneau,
No, thank you.
Councilmember Curtis,
No thanks.
Councilmember Hufford Chase,
No, thank you.
Treasurer Johnson.
No.
Next item on the agenda is adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn the special meeting at 6:03 p.m.?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second? A motion and a second, all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Ayes have it and the motion is carried. Thank you, everybody.